Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Following Nick's tense interrogation at the Shadow Room, the air around Los Angeles felt charged with electricity, a storm of secrets ready to explode. Kyle Abbott, restless and determined to get answers, watched Sienna call from across the dimly lit bar, his mind spinning with what Nick had just told him. Sienna was poised, confident, and far too calm for someone being scrutinized by Victor Newman himself. The music pulsed low, and the haze of mystery surrounding her only deepened. Kyle approached her, his tone casual but his intentions razor-sharp. He had questions, not just about Noah's accident but about the mysterious Audra Charles, whose name had begun circulating like wildfire through every whispered conversation in Genoa City and Los Angeles. When Kyle mentioned Audra, Sienna's eyes flickered, a telltale flash of recognition she quickly masked with a sly smile. "Audra? You know her?" she asked, feigning innocence. Kyle smirked slightly, sensing the lie forming before it even left her lips. "Let's just say our families have a long history of tangled loyalties," he replied smoothly. "And given how close you were to Noah, I figured you might have answers no one else does." The mere mention of Noah Newman seemed to shift the atmosphere. Sienna's confidence wavered for a heartbeat. "Noah's been through enough," she murmured, glancing away. Kyle leaned closer, lowering his voice. "That's not an answer. Why are you so interested in him, Sienna? And why does Nick Newman think you're hiding something?" She stiffened, masking her discomfort with a hint of irritation. "Nick thinks everyone's hiding something," she countered, swirling the drink in her hand. "It's what he does best: control, accuse, interrogate." But when Kyle mentioned that Nick had just left the hospital and was on his way there, her facade faltered. Her grip on the glass tightened. "He's coming here?" she asked quietly, a tremor barely disguised beneath her cool tone. "Then maybe it's time I told my side of the story." Across town, the Abbott mansion was alive with tension of a different kind. Jack Abbott stood by the window of his study, staring into the night with fury simmering beneath his calm exterior. "It's Victor," he finally declared, turning toward Billy, who sat at the edge of Jack's desk. "He's stolen Kane's AI program. Or someone working for him has. Either way, if it's true, Jabot is his next target." Billy frowned, the weight of Jack's words sinking in. "And you think Phyllis is helping him?" Jack didn't hesitate. "I think she's capable of anything when she feels cornered. She's unpredictable, she's ambitious, and she knows too much about Jabot's inner systems. Victor could easily manipulate her." Jack's voice hardened. "I want you to handle Phyllis." Billy blinked, caught off guard. "Handle her? You mean, find out what she's up to? Play nice if you have to. But if she's feeding Victor information, I want proof before it's too late." There was a rare vulnerability in Jack's tone as he added, "If Jabot falls because of her, we'll never recover." Billy stood, processing it all. For once, Jack's request didn't feel like an order, it felt like trust. "You know," Billy said softly, "it's not every day you ask me to be the one to fix things." Jack managed a small, weary smile. "We've both made mistakes, Billy. But this time, we're going to fix them together." Billy nodded, a sense of resolve washing over him. "If we're in this together," he said firmly, "then Phyllis won't stand a chance." Jack clasped his brother's shoulder. "Good. Because Victor will make sure she's caught in the crossfire if she's supplying him with anything. And if that happens, we'll lose more than Jabot, we'll lose everything." At the Genoa City Athletic Club, Kane Ashby sat across from Phyllis Summers, his sharp eyes locked onto her every movement. "You expect me to believe you're not helping Victor?" he asked bluntly, his voice edged with suspicion. Phyllis rolled her eyes, leaning back in her chair. "You really think I'd hand over that AI software to Victor? Please. Give me some credit." But Kane wasn't buying it. "Jack says Victor might be using the program to go after Jabot. Why not Arabesque too?" he asked, his tone cold but curious. Phyllis's lips curved into a dangerous smile. Because Victor doesn't share. He takes. And if he took it, it's because someone gave him the opening. Kane leaned forward. You mean you? The accusation hung heavy in the air. Phyllis's face hardened. You're accusing the wrong woman, Ashby. You might want to look in the mirror, you're the one who lost control of your software. When Kane admitted that he'd already told Jack about his suspicions, Phyllis's fury erupted. You did what? She snapped, slamming her hand on the table. You went to Jack? Do you have any idea what you've done? Her voice rose, drawing glances from nearby tables. Those Abbots stabbed me in the back while I was running Jabot, and now you're helping them do it again? Kane gave a slow, knowing smirk. I just told him what I thought he should know. You're the one spinning this out of control. She shot him a glare so sharp it could cut glass. I'm not in bed with anybody else, Kane. His grin widened. You're good, he said with quiet amusement. Real good. Their banter turned charged, the kind that sizzled between two people who despised and desired each other in equal measure. Kane's tone softened just enough to make her wary. You've got me off balance, Red. And if I'm not careful, I'll end up flat on my back. Phyllis smirked, her voice dropping to a purr. There are worse positions to be in with me. The tension between them was electric, dangerously close to crossing the line between business and something far riskier. But before either could speak again, Phyllis's phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number that read simply, he knows. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, the hospital corridors were filled with whispers and dread. Noah Newman lay unconscious, machines beeping steadily beside him. Sharon sat at his bedside, her hands trembling as she brushed a strand of hair from his forehead. My baby, she whispered, tears slipping down her cheeks. Nikki and Victoria stood nearby, offering quiet comfort. Your family, Sharon, Nikki said softly. You always will be. We're in this together. Sharon nodded, grateful but consumed by worry. Nick won't rest until he finds out what happened, she murmured. Victoria sighed. And when he does, someone's going to pay for it. Nick's arrival at the shadow room was like a thunderclap. The moment he stepped inside, every eye turned toward him. Sienna straightened behind the bar, her cool demeanor cracking just slightly. Mr. Newman, she greeted, forcing a polite smile. Back so soon? Nick's eyes were steely. I'm not leaving until I get the truth. My son's in a coma because of something that happened here, and I intend to find out what. Kyle, still lingering nearby, watched the exchange carefully. Easy, Nick, he cautioned. Sienna's not going anywhere. But Nick wasn't listening. Tell me about the night of the accident, he demanded. Who was here? Who followed Noah out? And don't tell me you don't know. Sienna's voice trembled. I've told you everything I can remember. Noah had a drink, he was upset, something about Audra and a business deal gone wrong. He left alone. Nick's eyes narrowed. You're lying. You said before that some of your employees saw him outside. Where are they now? Sienna hesitated. They didn't come in today. Convenient, Nick muttered. You didn't even talk to the detective, did you? Her silence was answer enough. So you're hiding something, Nick said, his tone cold as ice. No, Sienna protested, I'm protecting someone. Nick stepped closer, voice low. Who? She looked away. If you want to talk to my staff, come back tomorrow. I'll make sure they're here. Tomorrow? Nick scoffed. You trying to buy yourself some time, Sienna? Her jaw tightened. Believe what you want, Mr. Newman. But you're not the only one looking for answers. When Nick finally left, Kyle approached Sienna again. That went well, he said dryly. She shot him a glare. You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into. Maybe not, Kyle admitted, but I know a deal when I see one. Her brows furrowed. A deal? He nodded, leaning on the bar. You give me everything you know about Audra Charles, everything, and I'll dig into the real story behind Noah's crash. You want to protect yourself? That's how. Sienna looked at him skeptically, torn between mistrust and desperation. And what do you get out of it, Kyle Abbott? She asked softly. Answers, he said simply. And maybe a chance to stop Victor Newman before he destroys us all. Back at the Abbott mansion, Billy was pacing the study when Jack returned from his call. So? Billy asked. Jack exhaled slowly. Victor's already moving. He's setting up meetings in LA, probably tied to that AI code. If he's using Phyllis, she'll lead us right to him. Billy frowned. And if she's not? Then she's our only chance to beat him to the punch, Jack said grimly. Billy nodded, already pulling out his phone. I'll talk to her. Jack's gaze softened for a moment. Billy, don't let her play you. Billy smirked. You forget who you're talking to. I've been burned by Phyllis more times than I can count. This time, I'm holding the match. At the club, Phyllis was still seething when Kane stood to leave. You know, she called after him, there's one upside to Victor targeting you. Kane turned, eyebrow raised. Oh yeah? What's that? Phyllis's smile was wicked. Lily might actually feel sorry for you for once. Kane's expression darkened. You think this is funny? I think, Phyllis said, stepping closer, you're so busy trying to catch me in a lie that you can't see who's really stabbing you in the back. Kane's jaw tightened. You really are something else. You have no idea, she whispered, brushing past him as she left. As the night deepened, the storm that had been brewing across cities, Genoa City, Los Angeles, began to converge. Sienna sat alone in the shadow room after closing, staring at her phone. A message flashed on the screen from an anonymous sender, tell them nothing. Or Noah won't be the last one hurt. Her hands trembled as she deleted it. Meanwhile, Nick stood in the hospital hallway, watching Sharon through the glass as she held Noah's hand. His reflection looked older, harder, a man burdened by too many battles. I'll find who did this, he whispered. Behind him, Nikki and Victoria exchanged a worried glance. He's not going to stop, Nikki murmured. No, Victoria agreed, and when he finds out what Sienna's really hiding, it's going to change everything. And miles away, in the darkened corridors of the Abbott estate, Jack poured himself a drink, lost in thought. The war with Victor was only beginning, but this time, there were too many fronts, too many players, and far too many secrets. As lightning flashed outside, he whispered to himself, we'll find the truth, no matter who we lose along the way. The night stretched on, heavy with unspoken fears and whispered betrayals. Sienna Bacall couldn't shake Kyle Abbott's offer, his calm confidence, his ability to see through her facade like no one else. The shadow room was empty now, save for the hum of neon lights flickering across polished glass. Her hands trembled as she poured herself a drink, needing something, anything, to quiet the pounding of her heart. Kyle had struck a nerve, and that terrified her. For months she'd lived on the edge of a knife, protecting secrets that weren't even fully her own. But Noah's accident had changed everything. The message she'd received, tell them nothing. Or Noah won't be the last one hurt, echoed like a curse in her mind. When Kyle reappeared in the doorway, she nearly jumped. You're still here, she said, forcing a smile. He shrugged, stepping closer, his voice low and deliberate. You didn't answer my question earlier. Which one? The one about Audra Charles. He leaned against the bar, his gaze unwavering. You said Noah was upset that night, something about a business deal gone wrong. Was it with her? Sienna exhaled shakily. You don't give up, do you? Not when someone's lying to me, Kyle replied evenly. You said you want answers about Noah's accident. So do I, help me, and we'll both get what we want. Her resolve wavered. Kyle had no idea how deep this went, how dangerous it had become. But part of her, the part that cared about Noah, that couldn't bear to see him lying unconscious in that hospital bed, wanted to trust him. Audra wasn't just doing business with Noah, she confessed finally. She was manipulating him. using his connections to the Newman name to open doors for people who wanted something from Victor. Kyle's eyes narrowed. People like who? She shook her head. I don't know all their names. But there was one, Holden Novak. He and Audra were close. Too close. And I think whatever happened to Noah started with them. Kyle stiffened. Holden Novak? The same guy who's been sniffing around Claire? Sienna nodded. They're all connected, Kyle. This isn't just about one car crash. It's about power, money, revenge. Noah found out something he shouldn't have, and someone wanted to make sure he stayed quiet. Her voice trembled now, her walls beginning to crumble. If Victor's investigating me, it's because he already knows. He knows that what happened wasn't an accident. Before Kyle could respond, his phone buzzed. It was a message from Jack, "Get home now." It started. Kyle's gut clenched. I have to go, he said quickly. Stay low. Don't talk to anyone else, especially Nick. He's walking into something much bigger than he realizes. As he hurried out into the night, Sienna whispered to the empty room, "You have no idea how right you are." At the Abbott mansion, Jack was pacing when Kyle burst in, soaked from the rain. Billy was already there, arms folded, smirk playing on his lips. Nice of you to join us, little brother, Billy said. Jack's been climbing the walls waiting for you. Jack cut him off. We have a problem. A big one. Victor's made his move. He tossed a folder onto the desk, inside were photos, financial logs, and a list of corporate acquisitions. He's been buying up tech companies under shell names connected to Newman Ventures. He's assembling his own AI division, and Kane's software is at the center of it. Kyle's eyes widened. So it was Victor. Yes, Jack said grimly, but it's worse than that. He's setting up a shadow operation, something designed to dismantle Jabot's entire digital infrastructure. If he gets full control of that AI, he could wipe us out overnight. Billy leaned forward. And Phyllis? Jack sighed heavily. She's the wild card. Kane's convinced she's involved, but I'm not sure. She's reckless, yes, but she's not stupid enough to give Victor full control without a backup plan. Kyle frowned. Unless she thinks she can outsmart him. Billy smirked. Classic Phyllis. Always playing both sides until she burns them down. Jack fixed him with a stern look. You're meeting her tonight, right? Yeah, Billy replied, pocketing his phone. She agreed to meet me at Society. I'll find out which side she's really on. Jack's voice hardened. Good. But remember, if she's working with Victor, she's not just dangerous. She's desperate. Society was quiet that night, the usual hum of conversation replaced by a heavy tension that hung in the air. When Phyllis walked in, all eyes turned, as they always did. Dressed in a sharp red jacket and heels that clicked like punctuation marks of power, she carried herself like a woman who feared nothing. But Billy knew better. Beneath that armor was chaos, guilt, and fire. Billy, she greeted coolly as she slid into the seat across from him. To what do I owe this impromptu dinner invitation? You missing me? He grinned. You wish. Jack sent me. Her smile faded just slightly. Ah. So this is an interrogation. Call it what you want, Billy said. He's worried you're playing for Team Victor again. Phyllis laughed, a sound equal parts amusement and disbelief. Do you really think I'd go crawling back to Victor Newman? Please. That man's ego couldn't fit inside this building. Then explain this. Billy slid his phone across the table, showing her a photo of Victor's new tech acquisitions. These companies are all using the same AI framework you designed. The same one Kane built for you. And somehow, they're all now under Newman control. You expect us to believe that's coincidence? Phyllis's smirk wavered. You think Victor could pull that off without help? Billy's gaze was sharp. I think he had help. From someone who knows Kane's code. Someone who's been pretending to be 3 steps ahead when really, she's been feeding him breadcrumbs. Phyllis leaned back, crossing her legs. You know, Billy, for a guy who's made a career out of self-destruction, you sure do love to accuse others of playing dirty. I've learned from the best, he shot back. For a long moment, they stared each other down, the tension crackling like static. Then Phyllis sighed, her facade slipping just a little. Victor approached me weeks ago, she admitted. He wanted access to the AI. I said no. But someone else, someone inside Kane's operation, said yes. By the time I found out, it was too late. The code was already out there. Billy frowned. Who? Phyllis hesitated. If I tell you, Jack will use it to go after Victor, and that's exactly what he wants. But it won't work. Victor's already ahead of us. Billy's eyes narrowed. So help us even the score. She gave a bitter laugh. You really think Jack would trust me again? Billy softened slightly. He already does. He asked me to come to you, not to trap you, but because he believes you still have something to fight for. Phyllis's eyes flickered with emotion, a flash of the woman she used to be. He shouldn't, she whispered. Not after everything. Then prove him right, Billy urged. Help us stop Victor before he destroys everything you built. Before she could answer, Kane appeared at the entrance. His expression was grim, his voice sharp. Funny seeing you two together, he said, approaching their table. You planning another secret alliance, or just reminiscing about old betrayals? Phyllis groaned. Oh, not tonight, Kane. But he ignored her. I just got off the phone with my contacts in LA, he said to Billy. Victor's not acting alone. He's using someone on the West Coast to test the AI, someone connected to Noah Newman's accident. Billy stiffened. What did you just say? Kane nodded. Yeah. Whatever happened to Noah wasn't random. It's all connected. Phyllis's face drained of color. You mean Sienna, she whispered. Kane turned to her sharply. You know her? Phyllis hesitated. She used to work for me, briefly. Back when I was consulting for one of Audra Charles's ventures. She's smart, resourceful, and if she's mixed up in this, then Victor's using her too. Billy cursed under his breath. Kyle's with her. Kane's expression darkened. Then he's walking straight into the lion's den.